Well, good day to you. Hello from Costa Rica. My name's Terry Carlile with Howler Magazine. And with me today is Debbie from Quatro Legal and another special guest because our objective with this video series is to educate and provide a valuable resource to people who are considering looking at Costa Rica coming in. And today is a tough topic because it is so vast, making the move to Costa Rica. We're doing the assumption, coming from the assumption that you've done your research and you know you're coming. And there's so many things on the checklist and you don't know, man, do I have everything covered on the checklist? But here to help us today, Debbie, why don't you introduce Debbie, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then with us also is Morela with Relocation Mundiales. I hope that was pretty close, and a relocation service. So it is good to have y'all here with us today at Howler Magazine. We have dozens of articles that deal with moving to Costa Rica, but we have some experts with you today. And one thing about Quatro Legal, they care and they show you they care, because the more you know, the more at peace you can be about such a major life decision, such as relocating to Costa Rica. Hey, Debbie, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing great, Terry. How are you doing? It's so good to see you. I haven't seen you for a bit.
Yeah, you get around a lot, and this is one of those hot topics, relocating. And once again, we're challenged with, if you go on Facebook, you're going to get a lot of different answers. Some of it's good and things like that. But what are some of the, just real quick, some of the major things about you discover that people are talking about? Man, I'm thinking about relocating to Costa Rica. What's a couple of the biggest things?
And Terry, you're absolutely right. What happens a lot is people get on social media. If you're looking at medical stuff, right, we call it Dr. Google, right? So you get on there and you start looking a bunch of things up, you get on social media, and things become outdated very quickly. And so it's really important for people to get a really good source. And that's why at Quatro Legal, we're really happy to offer always a complimentary session to answer questions and find out what people's needs are. And this relocating and questions about living and moving to Costa Rica is a big hot topic on just about everyone's list. We're seeing, more and more people wanting to come. They may be coming full-time, or they might be coming, 6 months a year, or they're going back and forth, but they want to get their residency. They want to get everything together so that they can come. But it can be a little overwhelming. It really can. We've all moved probably in our life, and we know how hard it is just to move across town. It's a lot more cumbersome. I guess cumbersome is not the right word there. It's just a lot more to do and think about when you move worldwide like this.
Right. Are you finding it's more expats, or is there more families? I know every region may be different, and what are you finding as far as, I don't know if we ever have a source for numbers of people relocating, but what are you finding? Is it more families now, or?
I think it's about probably half and half, which I think is a lot different than it was before the pandemic. A lot of families, the wage earners, the people working in the family, right, they're able to have a lot more choices. They're not chained to a desk, in a big box company, having to go in every day and commute every day. They're able to work anywhere they want. And so a lot of people are choosing, because of that, whether they've got kids or they don't have kids, they're choosing to move around in the world. And Costa Rica is pretty much number one on their list. We do also have lots of retirees, some people who aren't quite retired. You do have to have that lifelong pension type letter, but a lot of people who are on a kind of a disability, which is also considered, a lifelong income that you get, which will qualify them for residency. So I think really it's more like almost close to half and half, when before there were a lot less families.
Yeah. And this topic today, Debbie, is so broad, and there's no time to cover every single thing. But fortunately, with us is someone, Mariella, who can assist us with just some key points, some key nuggets to let you know what they're all about and what they can help you with. And Mariella, can you give us a quick overview about what your relocation services does? And welcome to the vlog.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Debbie, for this opportunity. Of course, absolutely. We are, as part of the relocation, we try to find the right home. Of course, it's a crucial part of a smooth relocation. Our role is to simplify that process. We starting by understanding the assignee needs first, budget, location, family size, the proximity to work or schools. And from there, we as a team in our relocation area, we trust in our real estate agency or property manager or landlords to look for the best options for these assignees. In our case, we work with many companies who look for us to help them in this process. We also coordinate all the viewings, assist with the lease negotiations, and of course ensure that all the rental terms are clear and fair. And I may say here that our goal is not just to find a house. At the end, is to help them to feel at home in Costa Rica as their new home.
Okay. So is it in this whole timeline process, can someone just contact your services just to find out what's all involved, or do they need to go ahead and make a decision? I want to move to the Guanacaste area. I want to move to the Arnall area. I mean, can they contact you at any time in their thinking process to start getting some answers?
Sure, of course. As I mentioned, we have many different, let's say, profiles of people who love to come to Costa Rica. And of course,
Right.
are very different cases, because it's not the same an executive that comes with his family or her family, or expats that just want to get retired in Costa Rica. So it's so different and so vast. And of course, we can help with that.
Now, I know at various times, different regions, grow, and what are you seeing? We've got like 8 major regions. What areas are you seeing with the most people coming into?
Okay, in Costa Rica right now, of course, many expat areas are Escazú, Santana, Ciudad Colón. Interesting, right now we are looking for many options in Grecia, that it's part of the Gran Area Metropolitana still. Even Sarchi, and it's because of the expansion of Costa Rican companies growing in Central Valley, in this part, in Grecia specifically.
Okay, so you can help find the homes. You can help identify schools if they've got kids. When it comes to okay, here's a big decision a lot of people have to make. Do I sell all my furniture in North America, or can I ship it? Tell us a little bit about how you can answer some of those questions. What's the best thing? And everybody's different. What's the best? What can you do to help me get? Okay, that took care of that check mark when it comes to moving furniture.
Of course, in Costa Rica, in the market, you could find houses that offers that furniture or just the white line. It depends. It's up to you. Of course, if you decide to sell your things and come and live, we also, as Mudanzas Mundiales, can offer you a kit, for example, of specific appliances or living rooms or the chairs or whatever you need to facilitate and help you with that decision. If you decide to buy them, or if you decide to bring from home, there are sometimes maybe a couple of days or a couple of weeks until your furniture comes and you get to have your house and everything. So it's whatever for you that feels better, but we will offer you an option to facilitate that process and do it smoothly.
Okay, so you have like a list of shipping companies that you trust. They're not, they've been around. You trust them. and then help the person decide, when it comes to shipping and they stay. I came down with a couple suitcases. I'm just a single guy, so it's totally different for me. But about how long does that process take? Once they ship it from the States, what does that look like?
Okay, well, it depends. In that case, I will give the answer to Roy, that he knows better about timing.
Yes.
Oh,
Perfect.
yeah, Roy. Hey, good day to you. What do you
Yes.
do
Well,
there?
thank you so much. Same good day to you, all of you. Well, Mudanzas Mundiales, we are in the logistics business. So we focus on two general major businesses. One, anything that has to do with commercial logistics, and then everything that has to do with moving. Okay. And in this case, about 95% is household goods. Okay. Because we also do commercial relocation. Um, Moving to Costa Rica is very simple. I mean, like any moving, it just has a couple steps because we do have to deal with shipping lines. We do have to deal with internal transportation, but that's what we're good at, is making sure that whenever you're coming over, we have as much of a seamless experience as possible.
So,
Um,
so all the headache is with you, right? It's not my headache.
exactly,
You take care of it.
That is
Oh,
exactly right. And our service is door to door. So basically, we're going to pick up at
wow.
your door, whatever you're shipping, and we can look at different ways of shipping. If it's a small amount, we can probably do it via air, or if it's a considerable amount, we can consider shipping it via sea. So we definitely take care of everything door to door. It's a seamless experience in which we take care of customs, everything from origin to destiny, making sure that even if you're bringing over not only your household goods, but you might be bringing a pet over, you might be bringing art and other things that have a personal value, and that's one of the most important things. Is we understand that what's floating in the middle of the ocean or what's coming via air is not so much the fact that has a tangible value, but the fact that it has a heartfelt value in which we're moving personal items. So we understand that it needs to be moved fast, with care, and making sure that it gets here in the most expedite way. So we understand that we're moving things that are very attached to your heart and that need to be taken care of. So ballpark figures, bringing things from the States, around 2 months if we bring it via shipping lines, which is one of the most used methods, just because a cost ratio is one of the most efficient. And again, we deliver door to door, which is something that is not done in every single country. In the States, a lot of it is you receive the container to your home. We actually go ahead and ship everything to another truck and send it over to your home here in Costa Rica.
Okay. So you would give the consumer, the client, options when it comes to shipping and speed and all that.
Right.
And I know a lot of people ask, is it worth shipping your car? What has been your experience when it comes to, do I just sell it in States and buy something down here? What's been your experience? What's the percentage like of people that I'm going to ship my car?
Yeah, some people do bring their cars just because cars, one of the most important things is reliability and trust in your car. Some people do bring their cars. Some people don't. We have here, and to break it down in the easiest way, any car that has 6 years or more of it being manufactured is going to be taxed around 68%. Anything below that, it'll be around 50, 58, within a range. So you can do the math. We still get taxed quite heavily. We tax older cars more because we want to avoid getting cars in that they're probably not worth it or just not roadworthy. So cars, they can fit in a 20-foot container. Again, it's the same. It's actually a little bit simpler than sending household goods because you don't have to put anything in a box. You just put the car in a container and you're ready to ship. There's some requirements. We do need an invoice. We will need a bill of lading. so on and so forth, which is no major issues. But actually importing a car is a little bit simpler just because, there's no packaging or unpackaging of anything.
Okay.
And we've actually had people that import their car with a couple stuff in it. You're actually purchasing a 20-foot container, so you might as well take advantage of that 20-foot container.
Got you. Got you. And how about art and precious treasures and things like that someone may want to ship? What's the precaution that y'all do to ensure reliability?
Well, there's actually two important things that we see a lot of it coming over with when people are moving or relocating. One is definitely art, and the other is pets. Those are two things that are very tied up to people, and they want to move with the art they were given, and so on and so forth. And art can come in various ways. Statues, paintings. We even do particular things such as pianos as well. That people may want to bring a very specific item that requires special handling. And we're very good at it. We actually work with correspondents around the world that know how to handle art. And, whether it's expensive or not, or it simply has a very personal value, we can go as far as to, putting it in a special crated box so that, it does come up to compliance with all the insurance compliances that we need, because sometimes we do ship art collections from different museums coming over. We just actually brought from the New York Museum of Art the collection del Museo de Arte Costarricense of indigenous pieces that was in loan to the museum. So we go through the whole process of making sure that it's insured. There's a packing list that comes with it, and there's a whole due process. But we do have excellent knowledge of bringing over art, whether it's really expensive or just really, of personal value to you. And also pets are something that we've noticed that is something that's very tied to relocating and moving. And thank God, pets here in Costa Rica, there's no quarantine period, which some countries do have quarantine periods or require for them to have a special chip, such as Brazil and Mexico. They do require for a chip to be placed on the pet. It's really simple. I mean, if it comes with you, it only needs a certification, international vet certification, which has to be filed out 14 days within you moving with your pet. And that is basically it. It's an international form that's filled out by the vet in your country. And it is as simple as that, really. The only limitation we have in Costa Rica compared to other countries is that we do not allow the importation of exotic animals. No exotic tropical birds, no reptiles, no lions, tigers, no animals of that sort, which, believe it or not, excuse me, particularly out of Europe, we've had people that want to bring their pet bird over, and we've had to tell them that it's just not going to be allowed to bring them in because they're usually pet birds that have some sort of tropical DNA on them, and they're just not allowed in. They're very specific on that, and that's why you see that there's no such a thing as a very millionaire person that has a tiger at home or an elephant. Here in Costa Rica, that is not allowed. So in importing your pet, that is the only limit or limitation, I'm sorry, is that exotic pets, they just really won't be able to get in.
Okay.
And on top of that, we do have a little bit more atypical things such as safety or safe boxes, which can be pretty heavy. People want to import weapons as well from the U.S., which they can do, but that is done personally and in another way. But there's always certain outliners that do come out that we're always able to work around, and that's part of what makes us good. That we're always open to different things. We understand that when you're moving, you're not just moving things; you're moving feelings and a whole bunch of family and so on and so forth. So that is how we work with Mariela, is making sure that whatever that person is going to need here prior, we can work with Mariela and relocating them, and our expertise in logistics kind of creates a very seamless experience.
Wow.
So if a couple wants a family or a retired couple, they can contact your organization, and I guess the easiest way to put it is you've already got the checklist of everything they need to consider for this move, right? I mean, I don't have to brainstorm that much. I mean, you've got that checklist.
Yes, and I can help you with just a very simple example. We've got people coming out of Europe or South America, and they're going to import some certain electrical appliances. I don't know, a coffee maker, their espresso machine. And, you know, we have 110 volts here in Costa Rica. And, you know, we go ahead and step up a little and tell them, listen, out of that backing list, we're seeing things that are not going to work here, or they're going to work. They're going to require, you know, to have an extra amplifier or a current regulator, and that's going to create an extra expenditure that if you do the numbers, you might as well buy the espresso machine here rather than bringing a 220. So there's different things that, depending where you're coming from, we can go ahead and be, you know, we've had people coming from Israel right now, and you know, they're going to go through several checkpoints and security checks and so on and so forth. So, you know, we kind of know how to deal and what's going to happen. If you're going to Mexico, we know that you're going to have to require to go to the embassy. So, you know, we try to give as many points and little details that will make, again, the whole experience, you know, as seamless as possible, because we understand that what we're selling is a service. It's non-tangible. So we try to work with examples and making sure that the customer understands completely what the extent of the service can be.
And y'all stay on top of all the government regulations and all the entry requirements. So y'all are the experts on that. Hey Debbie, what's one thing you wish you knew when you did your move to Costa Rica? What did you go, man, I wish I thought of that?
You mean back in the day?
Back in the day.
Yeah, it's almost 15 years now.
Yeah,
what
is that area that you wish, man, I wish I thought of that?
Yeah, I just think there's so many things. It's really hard to nail it down, you know. For us back then, where we were coming from and coming to, you know, there wasn't a lot here. And we weren't moving any household goods really, because we'd already decided that, you know, since we were maintaining 2 houses already, we left all of that stuff is still there, you know. So we didn't move a lot of that, which a lot of people want to move those things. And what people really need to think about, and I think even we thought about, is if you are going to bring something here, is it going to be okay? For instance, like, you know, if you have a wonderful, beautiful set of leather furniture, you do not want to bring that to the beach, right? You might as well just throw it away wherever you're coming from, because it's never going to make it here, you know. Right. And so that's a conversation that you really need to have to understand what area you're coming from, where I'm sure in the Central Valley that would hold up pretty good. You know, it might have some other issues, but it'll hold up pretty good. I think something that, you know, we worried about, and I think other people worried about, and I was going to ask Roy if he would back up a minute and kind of tell us, like, if somebody's going to bring this 20-foot shipping container, you know, let's say from Florida, you know, is there any kind of ballpark amount that it's going to cost to ship something like that?
Yes, that's a great question. And Florida is a good example, because what you did say is it's not the same if you're going to ship out of Washington State, okay? It's a big difference. But having that in mind, a 20-foot container in range, it can go anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000, okay? A 20-foot container. Depending, you know, what you're going to be bringing in that, where it's going to be coming from. But for example, bringing a car from Florida is around $10,000.
You got to really like that car, don't you?
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's
and we have everything here in Costa Rica that you could, I mean, that you need. I live in Flamingo, and I'm, you know, within Liberia, so it's not like I'm going to be here and be living in a desolate place. I mean, we've got a lot of great stores. where people could buy, things, good cars, good refrigerators, TVs, and all that. So it's not like you're totally stranded here in Costa Rica. Morela?
Yes.
Hey, when it comes to the different regions, you probably get this question, is this region family friendly or expat friendly? How do you answer or calm people's fears when it comes to, gee, is this region where we really, is this the best for us? And everybody's different. I get that. Everybody's different.
Yes.
So how do you answer that?
Okay, as you said, it depends on the family, if they are singles, if they are coming with children, or if they are just retired people that just want to relax. Of course, it's not the same. Looking in the Central Valley in specific areas in San Jose, for example, in Escazú, in certain condominiums, for example, that we already have many cases of expats that feel more comfortable if they are coming with a family, with small children, that it's completely different. Of course, we have a selection of specific expat areas in San Jose or in Central Valley, what we can offer as in the first case, and get a listing of different properties and different locations. So starting from there and offering different options and get to see what's the profile of each family or each assignee in our case.
Debbie, this sounds like a lot of our videos where Quatro Legal and this relocation, Roy Morela, can be another great asset on the checkoff list that that you've done your due diligence to get some answers to all the questions. Sure, Facebook is, people get a lot of information, the good, bad, and the ugly when it comes to that, but it sounds like this is just another great service that help people have that peace of mind. And that's what I appreciate about Quatro Legal and the fact that you do care and you want to provide these resources. And if you know somebody, if you're a viewer and you know somebody that's considering, make sure you send them this link to this video, and so they can learn more about this relocation services and what's available. What else you got, Debbie? I mean, it sounds like, man, they can do it all.
Yeah. This is a great resource for expats and families that want to come to Costa Rica, whether they're going to come here full-time or part-time. This is something that really can kind of check off all the boxes as kind of a one-step place, between Quatro Legal, who really has, all the information about, residency and the real estate and how to, have your corporation, all the things you need to do, personally and in your business, part to come to Costa Rica. They really have it covered as far as how am I going to get here, past getting on the airplane. There's a lot more things, and it's great to have this information that just gives people even a little bit of a look into, like, the shipping container situation, the shipping the car. Lots of people, have pets. Some people have really big dogs, and they're trying to figure out a way to get them here. And instead of spending, I don't know, dozens and dozens and dozens of hours, searching and researching on the internet, don't do that. Come, hop on quatro.legal, get a hold of us. We love, because we care so much about people and we want everyone to have a great experience in Costa Rica. We have it set up to where, everything is a complimentary consultation, and then we can also then refer to the experts here, Morela and Roy, and get everybody just started out on the right foot, and don't be so stressed out. Because people are stressed out. And I always want people to
your pure vida.
I want people to once they get off the phone or call or whatever with me, my very last question or next last question to them is like, do you feel better? Do you feel like you've got everything and all your questions answered. And that's really what it's about. So I learned some things today, so I'm super excited. And I know everybody will be happy to have a place to come to get this information. So it's great that you help us with this, Terry. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, there's Howler Magazine, like I said, has a lot of articles about which region and some checkoff lists. But of course, it doesn't go into detail that Morela and Roy can provide for you, and they can just contact you to start talking and start getting
Yes.
concepts, and then they sign up for your services, right, Morela?
Yes, well, I would add into what Debbie mentioned that relocating is not just about like packing boxes or signing a lease. It's more than that. It's that ensuring that a smooth transition to and avoid mistakes and, of course,
Right.
headaches during this process. And sometimes, like trying to handle everything alone can be
Right.
like it's sometimes unnecessary stress and unexpected challenges. And that's why it's important to trust into specialists in relocations, a specialist in moving, and make that difference. So you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
And of course, part of all the cultural adaptation, and at the end is focusing on what really matters, that it's starting your new life in a new country.
Right. So you, once again, I think we did this in another webinar blog, Debbie, can you put a price on peace of mind and having experts that can take care of the things that are involved? You can't put a dollar sign on that,
No,
in my
not.
opinion. Thank you, Roy and
No, it's
Morela.
my pleasure. And I just wanted to add to everything that's been said is that, yes, what we're looking for is to create a team that will solve all your migration, relocation issues. And just wanted to add that we go as far as to making sure that when that person moved over, we actually have a PO box service for the U.S. that, in fact, if you want to continue purchasing stuff and bring it over, because you want to purchase whatever you purchase on a regular basis from Amazon or eBay, we can actually forward it to your new home here in Costa Rica and bring it to your door. So,
wow.
even if it comes to, there's certain things that I still need to purchase, and, I just feel comfortable. We're just 2.5 hours flight from the U.S. So we do offer that service that makes sure that when you're settled in and you still want to buy something and feel close to home, we can still bring that in the most trouble-free way, so that what Debbie says, have that peace of mind of just, if I need to buy something and bring it from the U.S. fast and with no hassle, I can still feel close to home.
Wow, that's wonderful.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Debbie, you got anything to include while we finish up this? We appreciate our guests coming in and sharing the information. And like I said, if you know somebody, you're watching this, you know somebody who's interested in this is a question that I'm thinking about relocating to Costa Rica, make sure you send them this link. Make sure you follow Quatro Legal on the social media and YouTube channel for the blogs, that information we put out. Howler Magazine and Quatro Legal can provide you with so much information, and when it comes to details, people like Roy and Morela can certainly answer your questions. We thank you for joining us, Debbie.
Thank you, Terry. This was great.
Thank you all so much, Terry, Debbie. Really appreciate your time. You guys have a great weekend, and we're open for any questions anybody might have. Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Super.
Terry, for the invitation.
Thank you for joining us
Thank you.
today.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.